so it looks like Alzheimer's might be coming from other ways other than being hereditary. We did it. We're doing it to ourselves. Read this article here. Who is this? This is Science News talking about Alzheimer's coming from a different source. So, under very rare conditions, Alzheimer's disease may be transmitted. That would be scary. Under extremely rare circumstances, it appears that Alzheimer's disease can be transmitted between people. 5 people who received contaminated injections of a human growth hormone as children went on to develop Alzheimer's unusually early, researchers report January 29th in Nature Medicine. The findings represent the first time iatrogenic, hopefully I'm reading that correctly, seems right, iatrogenic Alzheimer's disease has been described. Neurologist John Kaling said January 25 in a news briefing, referring to a disease caused by a medical procedure. That sounds alarming, but researchers are quick to emphasize that Alzheimer's disease is not contagious in everyday life, including caretaking in most medical settings. We are not suggesting for a moment that you can catch Alzheimer's disease, said Kaling of the University College London's Institute of Prion Diseases. This is not transmittable in the sense of a viral or bacterial infection. The reassurance is echoed by Carlo Condello, a neurobiologist at the University of California, San Francisco, who wasn't involved in the study. In no way do we believe sporadic Alzheimer's disease is a communicable disease, he says. Only under incredibly artificial, now out of date medical practices is disappearing. It's no longer an issue. Okay, well, that's nice to know. They can do something about itchy noses. But just sad for the people that are getting it, from an old procedure. But this is when we start trying to play God like this, when we start messing around with all these different medical procedures and stuff. This is human growth hormone. Now, I don't know if these people needed them as a kid. I'm guessing if they're giving HGH to children, it must be because something's going on pretty poorly with their thyroid and they're not developing correctly, which, again, is very sad if that's happening and then causing Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's in someone who wasn't hereditarily likely going to get it. But most cases of Alzheimer's disease arise spontaneously in older people. In the United States, for instance, about 1 in 9 people age 65 and older have the disease. Oh my God, that's higher than I thought. That's part of what makes these newly described cases of Alzheimer's so unusual. Symptoms started early for these 5 people with Alzheimer's between ages 38 and 55. Wow. And in 3 for whom genetic data were available, researchers ruled out the presence of mutations known to cause early onset forms of the disease. Yeah, so the people in the study had all received growth hormone injections as children or teenagers, used to treat various growth disorders. These hormones were extracted from the pituitary glands of cadavers and combined into batches, a source that is no longer used. Yeah, I think now they just they homegrown make them in labs. They don't have to take them from cadavers. Some of these mixtures were later found to be contaminated with prions, infectious misshapen proteins that cause a disease called whatever, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, named after Creutzfeldt and Jacob. You need a different partner, Jacob. How about Chad and Jacob? Whatever. Globally, more than 200 people were affected. This type of growth hormones treatment stopped in 1985. Doctors now use synthetic versions. Exactly, like I said, they just make them. Okay, anyways, more to this article. It goes on for a little bit. So yeah, I think the point is when you're messing around, sometimes stuff happens, especially when you're messing around with health. Now, in this case, this is one of those awful things where it's, what are you going to do? You're going to not intervene, and then you're going to have people that are, whatever. I don't know. I was going to make a joke there, but I don't want to make a joke. I was going to make like a genetic joke. Genetic deformities and short people and all that kind of stuff. You're going to get people that just aren't growing correctly and that. So yeah, I do feel for them. And if you have, you have human growth hormone that can help them and stuff, great. But in this case, not so great. I guess if you told them, hey, look, listen, you'll get like 25 years of good life, but then Alzheimer's is coming to you, they probably would have said no. Just saying.